And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Thank you for joining us on the Alaska Show for the aviation portion of this broadcast. I'm meteorologist Niebuhr. First, let's take a look at our flying weather conditions and visibilities. We are going to be having a low pressure system moving across the Bering Sea this weekend, and that is going to be causing lower visibilities across the Bering and then eventually across portions of the southwest portions of the state. So again, red indicates IFR conditions, instrument flight rule conditions, which means visibilities and ceilings are a bit lower and a little more challenging for pilots. Blue's MVFR conditions, so you can tell much of the state for your Saturday morning is going to have lower visibilities and challenging flying conditions, even out towards the Panhandle region. Saturday afternoon, we do get some mixing out of the lower clouds along the mountains and across south central and a few areas up in eastern portions of the state. But again, much of the state under IFR conditions or MVFR conditions and lower visibilities. Sunday morning, you can see that low pressure system continue to push towards the mainland. And again, widespread IFR conditions along the coast and into the Bristol Bay regions, while widespread MVFR conditions in the interior Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, again, diurnal heating is going to mix out some of those lower clouds, lower visibilities, but still patches of IFR conditions along the mountains in south central and also in the western Bering as another system approaches. A few patches of IFR in the Panhandle region, but generally MVFR. Let's take a look at your pass conditions for Saturday. Anaktuvik Pass, we're going to start out at IFR conditions, improving to MVFR in the afternoon. This is what's going to be expected across much of the state. Adigan Pass, same story, starting at IFR conditions, improving to MVFR conditions by the afternoon hours. Lake Clark and Merrill, IFR, and then improving to MVFR in the afternoon hours. Same with Rainy. We're going to start at IFR, improve to MVFR by the afternoon hours. Windy Pass is going to start at MVFR, improve to VFR by the afternoon. Isabel Pass will start at MVF conditions and improve to VFR by the afternoon hours. Mentasta Pass starts at IFR with improvement towards MVFR by the afternoon. Tahina Pass, again, will start with MVFR conditions and improve to VFR by the afternoon hours. Portage will start at MVFR with improvements to VFR by the afternoon. Chilkoot and White start out IFR, improving to MVFR by the afternoon hours. Taking a look at your freezing levels, again, we have a cold push in the northern part of the state. We're looking at levels about 2,000 feet in the far north, Chukchi, and about 4,000 feet with that system that's moving across northern parts of the state. Meanwhile, we have a warm air ahead of that low pressure system that's coming up in the Bering. So we do have freezing levels about 12,000 feet as you go into the western portions of the Bering, generally around 10,000 feet to 8,000 feet across portions of the Gulf of Alaska. Icing Saturday. Again, with those low pressure systems moving across the state, we're going to have widespread considerable moderate icing conditions with some patches of isolated moderate in interior portions of the state. Again, above 12,000 where we have those warmer temperatures, and about 8 to 16,000 where we have slightly cooler conditions. But again, widespread chance for icing across much of our state on Saturday with all that precipitation. Look at our jet stream. It's about up to 130 knots across portions of the central Bering on your Saturday. As we go lower into about 9,000 feet, or about 60 knots, we also have the separate jet at 9,000 feet with westerly winds streaming into the Bristol Bay area and calmer winds across much of the interior portion of the state. Finally, at 3,000 feet, again, that jet maintains its strength at about 60 knots, but widespread onshore flow with that low pressure system moving in about 40 knots, even at 3,000 feet and across portions of the Aleutian Islands. As a result, we're expecting widespread turbulence across the mountains as those winds stream across over that topography. So widespread, considerable moderate where those strong winds are across western portion of the state, across much of the Aleutian Islands, and with a few patches in the interior as well.